Welcome to Red Tent Radio with Ludwina Dorjevic. This is the radio show that helps small business owners with creative marketing ideas, time-saving tips, and business insights that will increase your profile and attract more clients. If you are serious about your business, if you're ready for the success you know you deserve, then stay tuned for a wealth of information. Now here's your host, Ludwina Dorjevic.
Well, today I'm having a chat. I'm really excited about this one. I'm having a chat with Robert Rabaya, who's an Australian actor who I recently met this year. Now, Robert is most known for his roles as Nick in Chopper, Tony in Underbelly, and Hakim in Face to Face, for which he has been nominated for an AFI. Welcome to Red Tent Radio, Robert.
Thanks, Ludwina. Great to speak to you again.
Yeah, last time that I interviewed you was at one of the premieres of Face to Face in Melbourne, for which that film has now won over 30 international film awards. Is that right?
It's amazing. It's been an absolute amazing ride. It has, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite phenomenal for low-budget independent features. So now, congratulations on your AFI nomination for your role of Hakim in Face to Face. How does it feel to be recognised in this way?
Look, to be acknowledged by the Academy, the highest order in the country, is a huge honour, particularly for this role, which was a very personal and emotional one for me, having lost a close friend who took her own life because of bullying in the workplace, the same issue we primarily dealt with in the film. So, yeah, look, and not from my peers, feels like a part of her is being recognised and certainly stays alive within me, you know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and thanks for sharing that. I think we've all known somebody, whether it's been one of our own children or that's been bullied in the school or somebody who's been bullied in the workplace. Do you think that this film is somehow going to revolutionise how we look at those situations?
I don't know if it's going to necessarily revolutionise it. I think it's great that it's promoting some discussion about it, which is, you know, what I think needs to happen. You know, I think as a society as a whole, without turning this interview into a polemic, I think we need to take a good hard look at the current reforms and policies and stamp out any action or behaviour that diminishes and belittles and, unfortunately, in some cases leads to suicide.
Exactly right, and often it's the case with bullying that it's so insidious, it's not always often obvious.
No, absolutely right, and it's not something that we should tolerate at all. Look, I think this film's done many great things to at least promote a discussion about it. I think in cinema that's the best you can hope for.
And I've heard Michael say it will have like a long tail effect in the sense that it could even be used for educational purposes at some point down the road.
Yeah, apparently they're in discussions about that now, which is a great win for the project and, of course, to shed some light on something that tends to get swept under the carpet, which, of course, is bullying in the workplace.
How do you decide on what roles you're going to take, Robert?
Look, for me, it always comes down to the script. You know, I've been doing this for 16, 17 years, and you tend to get quite a nose for a good script or a bad script. The fact that David Williamson was on the title page for this particular script is certainly not a bad thing.
Yeah, David Williamson is an acclaimed Australian writer.
Absolutely, he is, yeah. The Club, so many great scripts, and as far as I'm concerned, he's incomparable, really. So, yeah, look, when I picked up this script and read that he was the writer, or the originator anyway, it was adapted for the screen by Michael Reimer. Look, you know you're in good hands when you're reading a David Williamson script, for sure.
So you say you've been an actor for 16, 17 years. Did you always know you wanted to be an actor?
Oh, look, ever since I can remember. And writing was something I was always passionate about too. I mean, I can recall from a young age having a fascination with attempting to understand the human condition. Look, I think ultimately I found an outlet for what some would deem a neurotic impulse when I studied the craft in Los Angeles. You know, they say art gives you a sense of meaning, and it was certainly the only vocation that made sense to me.
So what was it about acting that resonated with you? What was it that stirred that within you?
Oh, look, so many things, you know. Challenging conventional views of reality, losing one's identity in order to think and feel like the character, commuting on an emotional plane, the camaraderie and excitement on set. But look, ultimately I think one of the biggest responsibilities as an artist is to create some kind of healing within your work, both internally and externally.
Oh, it's nice. I've never heard it quite put like that before.
It's certainly how I feel about it anyway.
And I can certainly see that in your role with Hakim as well. So let's talk about acting as a form of self-employment, because majority of the people who are listening to this are self-employed, have their own business, small or home-based, or artists, as you are. How is it that you think an artist goes from being an artist to then turning that into a really good living, actually monetising it? What do you think are the steps? Because there's some artists, you know the term the starving artist, I think, well, you know, nobody's ever going to buy my art or recognise my craft. So what is it that brings a person like yourself from that place of being the actor to then actually making a living out of it?
You're talking about the business side of things?
Yeah.
Well, look, you know, when you have great people around you, it tends to flow, but sometimes, unfortunately, that's not the case, and you have to have a plan, really. Dreaming's great, but a specific vision is better. I guess I was fortunate enough to have some good teachers early in my career who taught me the importance of dedicating some time each week to admin work, proactive career administration, things like being knowledgeable about what parts are being cast for, having a good relationship with your agent, contacting influential people who can move your career forward, meeting with people who might be a future connection for you, and so on.
Networking would actually be a huge part of that process for you, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what kind of places does an actor network at? For us, I guess in the business-to-business service or things like that, we go to actual business networking events. But where does an actor go to network?
Look, I think anywhere you can, really. Sometimes it's in the most unlikeliest of places, you know, whether it be at acting class or workshops or... you know, if you're fortunate enough to be nominated for even a parochial prize at an award ceremony, I mean, wherever you can, really, you just have to have your ear to the ground and really just be open to whatever's on offer. I mean, if you wanted to be more specific, Screen Australia has a great website where you can actually see the productions that have recently been green-lit. So whilst I'm not endorsing hounding producers and directors, certainly friendly email asking them to keep you in mind is not a bad thing.
Now, you mentioned before about being proactive. I think that's an important key for regardless of what industry that you're in, because I truly believe it's the people who put themselves in front of the influencers, the people that can make the decisions about your career. I think that's a really vital component to have. What do you think?
Absolutely. Look, I think there are plenty of bad actors out there pounding the pavement and wasting the opportunities they generate, while too many good actors who simply don't know how to get a job or to at least take some action to make it more likely. Yeah, look, I agree with you, Lidwina. I think the marketing aspect of oneself and their talent in order to get work is part of the canvas. So it's certainly something I subscribe to.
And I think you just got to sort of get over yourself sometimes too with that, don't you? I mean, you really do have to put yourself out there. It's not just having the privilege of being able to do what you love. It's also being able to sell yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And look, you know, let's not detract from the fact that whilst we're not performing brain surgery or saving lives in this profession, it certainly is hard in the aspect that you're dealing with a constant flurry of rejection. But as you said, you do need to get over that and just focus on the work, because that's what it's about. Yeah, just put yourself out there, and as long as you're passionate about it and having fun, that's what matters.
So how do you feel personally about self-promotion? Is that something that you like or dislike?
Is it something I like or dislike? Look, it's not something I necessarily like. I'd rather be on set or stage working, but, you know, as we spoke about, it's all part of the business, so it's one of those necessary evils that just has to be done.
Definitely. Now, what's coming up for Robert Rabaya?
Look, I'm reading a few scripts at the moment and a few more over the holidays, but there hasn't really been anything that's jumped out at me yet and cast a spell. I had some good news today. I just received my US working visa just an hour before we were scheduled to speak, so that's exciting, and that's something I'd certainly like to explore in the future. But look, I'm just looking forward to 2012 and seeing where that takes me.
Congratulations on the US visa. I know that they're not that easy to get.
No, it was a 6-month process, and yeah, it's certainly one of those things that you have to be passionate about. But look, it's just great that I got the tick, I guess, and as I said, I'd prefer to stay in Australia and work, but it's always nice to have.
Definitely. Well, how can people find out more about you? Is there anywhere that they can go?
If you type in my name into Google, there's quite a few sites that'll direct you to some information. You can also contact my agent, Select. Speak to Mari and Joe. Apart from that, I'm around.
You are. You're not that hard to find, Robert. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks again, Ludwina, and have a safe and Merry Christmas.
You too. Bye for now.
Bye now.
You have just experienced another episode of Red Tent Radio. To find out more or to subscribe to the podcast, visit our website at www.redtentradio.com.